Good evening. Welcome to World News. I am Wisdom Onisi. First, the headline. Supreme Court nullifies National Lottery Act. ICC issues arrest warrant for Netanyahu, former Israeli defense minister. Trump speaks Pam Bondi as Attorney General after Matt Gaetz withdraws. And on sport, defending champion Spain to face Netherlands in Nation League quarters. Now the news in details. The Supreme Court on Friday nullified the National Lottery Act 2005 enacted by the National Assembly. A 7-member panel of the Supreme Court in a unanimous judgment held that the National Lottery Act 2005 should no longer be enforced in all states except the Federal Capital Territory, in respect of which the National Assembly is empowered to make laws. The apex court, in the lead judgment delivered by Justice Mohammed Idris, held that the National Assembly lacked the powers to legislate on issues relating to lottery and games of chance. Away from that, as part of its effort to empower the electorate with their basic rights and responsibilities, the Lagos State Office of Political, Legislative and Civic Engagement has held a one-day advocacy on voter education. At the event held at the Palace of Ayamerun of Ikorodu, Oba Kabiru Shotobi, on Thursday, the special advisor to the governor on political, legislative and civic engagement, Afolabi Tajuddin, said the event was part of the office mandate to educate citizens on their rights and responsibilities as voters, as well as the government's role in serving its people. Let's also have you know that the Edo State chapter of the People's Democratic Party and All Progressive Congress are at loggerheads over allegations of party secretariat's distraction. The state publicity secretary of the Edo PDP caretaker committee, Chris Nehihare, alleged that the APC thugs invaded the party secretariat, destroying and carting away properties worth millions of naira. He said the thugs also destroyed doors, windows, and office equipment, adding that several electronics, computers, and other valuable items were also carted away by the thugs, who ransacked the building with the plan to attack any person found therein. Nahihare condemned the attack, describing it as a desperate and reckless attempt by the APC to intimidate the PDP and frustrate party's effort at reclaiming its mandate stolen at the September 21st governorship election. Troops of the Nigerian army have killed a notorious terrorist commander, Munzur Ya Audul, in Yobe State, and 114 others through well-executed operations across the country. The Director of Defense Media Operation, Major General Edward Buba, disclosed these on Thursday during a press briefing in Abuja. He said troops were also actively targeting terrorist logistics bases and other structures that had affiliation with terror groups, stressing that effort had been placed to dismantle the capabilities as well as destroy networks of the terror groups. During the last week under review, troops neutralized 115, arrested 238, and rescued 138 kidnapped hostages. Also recovered are 28 Dan gun, 1 fabricated rollover pistol, 6 locally made pistols, and 1 pistol, 8 pump-action guns, 1 hand grenade, 4 fabricated hand grenades, an RPG bomb, and 3 explosives. Now I will return. News from other parts of Africa. Stay with us. Welcome back. Now news from other parts of the world. The International Criminal Court pre-trial chamber issued a Thursday arrest warrant to Benjamin Netanyahu, his former defense minister, and a Hamas military chief whose whereabouts are unknown. The ICC prosecutor sought warrants for 2 Hamas leaders who are believed to have been killed by Israel. Netanyahu and ex-minister Yoav Gallant are wanted for their war crime of starvation as a method of warfare and crimes against humanity, of murder, persecution, and other inhuman acts. The chamber also assessed that there are reasonable grounds to believe that Netanyahu and Gallant bear criminal responsibilities as civilian superiors for the war crime of intentionally directing attacks against civilian population of Gaza. The Democratic Republic of Congo ruling party, the Union for Democracy and Social Progress, has officially announced its demand for a complete replacement of 2006 constitution. This declaration made by party Secretary General Austin Kabuya during a meeting with supporters on November 21st signals a major shift in the party's stance. The UDPS is rejecting any form of revision and instead calling for a total constitutional overhaul. The UDPS argues that the current constitution has failed to address the country's structural challenges and has hindered its progress. According to the party, the existing framework has become a significant obstacle to economic and societal reforms, which they see as essential for the nation's development. The move comes at a critical time as the country prepares for upcoming political milestone by advocating for a full overhaul rather than piecemeal revision. The UPDS aims to reshape the nation's governance framework and address long-standing issues that is believed cannot be resolved under the current constitution. Now we move to other parts of the world after this break. Stay with us. Welcome back. Now news from other parts of the world. U.S. President-elect Donald Trump has nominated veteran prosecutor Pam Bondi as his new pick for Attorney General, as after Matt Gaetz withdrew his name from consideration. Bondi has a long track record in law enforcement and previously served as Florida's Attorney General. The 59-year-old is a longtime Trump ally who defended him during his first Senate impeachment trial. Losing his first chance, Gaetz, to run the Justice Department is a setback for Trump, but his new pick should have a less bumpy ride for senators who must approve the appointment. Bondi has been close to Trump since his 2016 campaign, telling voters at a recent Trump rally that she considers him a friend. In 2019, she joined his White House to focus on proactive impeachment messaging, serving both as his legal advisor and defense attorney during his first impeachment, during which he was acquitted. Kyiv closed parliament today, Friday, for 1 day, citing a potential Russian missile attack after President Vladimir Putin issued a warning to the West by launching a new intermediate-range missile at Ukraine. Moscow's 33-month invasion of Ukraine escalated this week with Russia's first launch of a nuclear-capable mid-range ballistic missile at the city of Dnipro on Thursday. The Kremlin said Friday that hawkish address by Putin, in which he threatened to strike the West, said he was ready for any scenario, had been understood in the United States. Putin had said Moscow reserved the right to strike countries that allow Kyiv to hit Russia territory with their weapons after the US and the UK gave the green light for Kyiv to do so. Singapore on Friday hanged a 55-year-old man for drug trafficking. Its Narcotics Enforcement Agency said the city-state third execution in a week as the United Nations called for a halt. The UN and rights groups say capital punishment has no proven deterrent effect and have called for it to be abolished. But Singaporean officials insist it has helped make the country one of Asia's safest. Singapore's Central Narcotics Bureau said the death sentence was carried out by Rosman Abdullah, convicted of trafficking 57.43 grams, that is 0.03 ounces of heroin, I beg your pardon. Under the country's tough drug laws, the death penalty kicks in for any amount above a 15-gram threshold. The hanging at Jandi prison followed the November 15 execution of two men, a 39-year-old Malaysian and a 53-year-old Singaporean, also for drug trafficking. Up next is business. Please stay with us. Welcome back now to business news. Officials of the National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control (NAFDAC) have uncovered 2 billion naira counterfeit alcohol packaging centers in Lagos. The illegal packaging centers were raided in the Abuja, Osun area of the nation's commercial heartbeat. During the raid, over 50,000 counterfeit branded labels and packaging materials for fake alcoholic beverages valued at approximately 2 billion naira were confiscated. These items were being used to produce unapproved and hazardous alcoholic products. The agency re-echoed the consequences of fake alcohol and warned consumers to buy products from trusted vendors. The development came days after the agency seized counterfeit wines valued at 41.2 million naira following in Nasarawa State. The seizure followed a raid in shops in some parts of the state. Still on the business news, the International Monetary Fund (IMF) board is set to meet in early December and approve the disbursement of $360 million to Ghana. This will be in line with Ghana passing the third review under the fund program. Once the review is completed by the IMF Executive Board, Ghana would have access to about $360 million in terms of disbursement. The Director of Communication at the IMF, Julia Kozak, disclosed in a news conference in Washington, D.C., USA. Describing the program performance as encouraging, Ms. Kozak said Ghana has followed the requirement needed for the country's debt restructuring. Most Asian markets gained on Friday after a bounce on the Wall Street, while Bitcoin continued its march higher to move within touching distance of $100 million mark. Rising geopolitical tensions tempered the atmosphere and pushed oil higher after Russia hit Ukraine with a new generation intermediate range missile and sent warning to the West. However, all three main indexes on Wall Street ended on a positive note, with observers saying traders had dialed back their glooms over Nvidia as they digested pledges by firm over production of its keenly anticipated Blackwell lineup. Still to come is sport. Stay with us. Welcome back now to Sport News. The National Sport Commission has announced Enugu State as the host of the 23rd edition of the National Sport Festival in 2026. NSS Director General Bukola Olopade disclosed this in a statement today in Abuja. He said the decision has reached after a top management meeting in the NSC. According to him, the coal city emerged from a competitive bidding process and the state is set to deliver a world-class event. The NSF biennial multi-sport event brings together thousands of athletes from the 36 states and the FCT to celebrate sportsmanship, national unity, and sporting excellence. Meanwhile, before Enugu takes center stage, the 22nd edition of the festival is set to be held in January 2025 in Ogun, with the Gateway State set to deliver a world-class event. Still on sport news, Dreams FC has denied claims by former Ghana Youth International Najib Yakubu that the club tried to sign him during his time with the Black Starlets. Najib, who now represents the Niger national team, alleged that Ghana Football Association President Kurt Okraku excluded him from the Black Meteors squad that traveled to Japan for friendlies in 2021 due to personal grudge. Speaking with sport analyst, Najib claimed the issue stemmed from his refusal to join Dreams FC. However, officials of Dream FC have categorically denied the allegation. European champion Spain will play the Netherlands in the quarterfinals of the Nation League, while Friday's draw pitted Germany against Italy in another last 8 clash. Spain won the last edition of the Nations League after beating Croatia on penalties in the final. They also finished runner-ups in the 2020-2021 tournament. In the quarterfinals, France take a crucial in the repeat of 2018 World Cup final and Portugal to up against Denmark. The winners of the Spain-Netherlands tie will advance to a semi-final against either France or Croatia. Cristiano Ronaldo, Portugal, could await Germany or Italy in other last four encounter. And that's your sport news on World News. Now we move to the rest of the news. Stay with us. Welcome back. Now the rest of the news. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu on Friday thanked his Hungarian counterpart Viktor Orban for his show of moral clarity after inviting him to visit despite an ICC arrest warrant. Netanyahu's office published what they said was a letter from Orban sent on Friday in which he said he was shocked to learn of the International Criminal Court move to issue a warrant calling for Netanyahu's arrest. The ICC issued the warrant for Netanyahu and ex-defense minister Yoav Gallant in response to accusation of crimes against humanity and war crimes in Israel's war on Hamas in Gaza, triggered by the militant Palestinian group's October 7, 2023 attack. And that's your world news. But before we go, here are the headlines again. We told you that Nigerian Supreme Court nullifies National Lottery Act. We brought to you that ICC issued arrest warrant